The air is heavy, thick with smoke, fear, and the scent of rot. You can almost hear it, the low hum of hopelessness echoing across the stone walls. It's the year 1347, and you are trapped inside a besieged fortress. Outside, an army waits, patient, cold, and merciless. Inside, the world is shrinking with every passing hour. You think you might survive a day here, but you wouldn't last 24 hours. Inside, the streets are narrow and thick with bodies. Not soldiers, but mothers, children, old men. Each clutching a scrap of bread, each praying that the next rock won't shatter their roof. The well has already turned foul. The rats, bold and fearless, have become part of the city's daily routine. Every sound, a cough, a creak, a breath, feels like a confession. No one trusts anyone anymore. The siege has lasted 3 weeks. Food has vanished. The wells are poisoned. Soldiers guard the gates not to defend, but to keep people from escaping. Panic turns to violence. Men barter their armor for water. Women tear cloth from corpses for warmth. The city becomes a living tomb, and still the enemy waits. Outside, the besiegers sit by their fires. They laugh, drink, and wait, knowing that hunger will do what swords cannot. They catapult disease, carcasses, and burning oil into the fortress. They watch the smoke rise, knowing each breath taken inside those walls brings their victory closer. They do not need to fight, only to wait. Inside, you feel the walls closing in. The stench of sweat and decay fills your lungs. A child cries, no tears left, only dry sound. The priest mutters prayers over dying candles. Hope is now a rumor. You look to the horizon for salvation, and see only smoke. You understand it now. A siege is not fought with swords. It is fought with silence, thirst, and time. The walls that once promised safety now feel like your coffin. Each sunrise means one less friend, one less meal, one less reason to believe you'll see another. Outside the gates, the world moves on. Inside, time dies slowly. And as night falls, you hear it. The first stone of the enemy's trebuchet groaning in the dark. Tomorrow will bring fire, but tonight you will dream of water. Dawn breaks, if you can call it that. The light that seeps through the smoke isn't the sun's warmth. It's the reflection of distant fires. Every soul still breathing in this fortress wakes with the same thought, not of survival, but of endurance. How long until thirst ends the waiting? How long until the mind begins to unravel? Hunger is no longer a feeling. It's a voice. It whispers with every heartbeat. It tells you to steal, to betray, to eat what should never be eaten. The baker's boy vanished last night. Some say he escaped. Others say they found his bones near the well. No one dares ask which story is true. No one speaks freely now. Every whisper could be betrayal, every shadow a spy. The lord of the fortress has locked himself in the upper keep, surrounded by guards who no longer salute him. The people chant his name with venom, not loyalty. The walls protect no one. They only trap the guilty and the doomed together. In the chapel, candles burn low. The priest, once a man of faith, now a man of fear, prays not for salvation, but for forgiveness. The icons on the walls seem to watch him, their painted eyes accusing. He whispers that God has abandoned the fortress, but his words feel like poison on his tongue. The siege breaks more than the body. It shatters the spirit. Where hunger lives, plague follows. The first bodies appear near the well. Blackened veins, glassy eyes, the smell of decay thick as smoke. There is no burial, no prayer. The dead are dragged to the gates and left for the enemy to see. A final act of defiance, or madness. You begin to hear things that aren't there. Footsteps behind walls, whispers in the dark. The siege has entered your mind. Even the air tastes of iron. Someone laughs near the courtyard, but it isn't laughter of joy. It's the laughter of someone who has forgotten what joy is. Outside, the enemy watches. They can sense it. The fortress is beginning to devour itself. That night, the city doesn't sleep. Every creak of wood sounds like betrayal. Somewhere, someone pries open a locked door. By morning, the Lord's guards will be dead, throats slit, armor stripped. Fear no longer divides the living and the dead. It has become the same thing. The night bleeds into morning without light. No birds sing, no bells ring. The siege has stolen the very rhythm of time. Those who remain alive now speak in whispers, their voices thin as smoke. A single word passes between them all: mutiny. The Lord's banners still hang above the gate. But they mean nothing now. The guards have abandoned their posts. Mothers clutch blades meant for soldiers. The baker's wife is caught hoarding grain, and her punishment is swift, merciless. It is no longer a siege from the outside. It is a siege within. In the upper tower, the Lord looks out upon his kingdom, what's left of it. His armor gathers dust, his crown rests crooked on his head. He gave his word to protect his people, yet his people now hunt him. His advisors whisper, "Escape before dawn." But where would he go? There are no safe walls left in a world that has stopped believing in kings. And then, as if summoned by despair itself, fire. It spreads from the stables, devouring wood and screams alike. The air thickens with ash and terror. Some shout that the enemy has breached the walls. Others swear it's divine punishment. Either way, the fortress becomes an inferno of faith and fear. When the fire dies, the smell that remains isn't only smoke. Hunger returns, cruel and unforgiving. Men look at one another with hollow eyes, calculating. Flesh is no longer sacred. It is survival. No one admits it aloud, but everyone knows. The siege has taken their souls and replaced them with hunger's shadow. Outside the walls, the besieging army waits. They see the smoke, hear the screams, smell the decay. There is no need to fight. Victory now lies in patience. The enemy commander lowers his sword and whispers, "Let the walls finish them for us." In the darkest corner beneath the keep, a child hides in the wine cellar. She hums a lullaby she barely remembers. Around her, barrels leak red. But it isn't wine anymore. Her small candle flickers, then dies. Above, the walls crumble, the world collapsing in silence. When the screaming ends, it's not peace that follows. It's the sound of nothing. The siege has taken everything: the food, the faith, the flesh, the future. What remains inside these walls are echoes, empty prayers, hollow laughter, and the silence of the damned. The dawn after the siege feels wrong. There is no cheering, no relief, only the slow shuffling of the living among the dead. Smoke drifts across the courtyard like ghosts searching for their names. The air tastes of rust and loss. Victory has no scent, only decay. The gates finally open, not from conquest, but exhaustion. The enemy enters quietly, weapons lowered. They expect resistance, but find only silence. Inside the walls, they see the truth. There are no victors here, only survivors, and even they look half dead. They find the Lord in his tower. His crown lies beside him, dented and blackened, his sword still in hand, but he never used it. His eyes stare toward the horizon, glassy and unseeing, as if still searching for a sun that never rose. The conquerors say nothing. Even enemies know when a soul has already surrendered. The victors spend the next 3 days burying the dead. They dig trenches with shaking hands, faces covered with cloth to block the stench. Men who once fought now work side by side in silence. The earth becomes heavy with the weight of both sides, enemy and ally indistinguishable beneath the soil. In the chapel, a woman lights a single candle. She does not pray. She simply watches the flames sway in the draft. Around her, the icons are blackened with soot. The priest is gone. The sacred words are forgotten. Yet, for a moment, just a moment, the candle's glow feels like mercy. Weeks pass. Grass begins to grow through the cracks in the courtyard. Children, the few who survived, play among the stones, their laughter fragile, uncertain. They chase each other through the ruins of the walls, not knowing what those walls once meant. The past has turned to dust beneath their feet. And still, life tries to begin again. Historians will one day call this a victory. They'll draw maps, write names, carve dates into marble. But the people who lived it, they'll remember it differently. They'll remember the hunger, the fear, the smell of smoke and silence. And they'll understand what kings never could, that walls do not protect, they imprison. Survival isn't triumph. It's a memory you carry like a wound that never heals. Every survivor leaves a piece of themselves behind in the ashes, and as time passes, those ashes will mix with dust, with rain, with stories. Until one day, No one remembers the siege at all, only the silence,